Wilka, Wilka, Wiracochang, Nunai. Wilka, 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 Wiracochang, Nunai. Wilka, 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 Wiracochang, Nunai. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sebaot. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sebaot. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sebaot. Holy, holy, holy is the holiest of hosts. Receive this understanding, this Gnostic transmission, recognizing your essence as luminous earthwalkers, as those star-seeded emissaries who have been initiated into the magic, medicine, and mystery of Thoth's emerald tablet, in which the Akashic records, the entire unfolding and never predictable historical process of humankind's apparition within this unknowable, ineffable multiverse has been cast as though die have been thrown by an unknown player. He or she who is behind the great dreaming for self-entertainment, for an enjoyable spending of time within a space that was not even theirs to begin with. A space in which we found ourselves recognizing but a glimpse of when we were within our mother's amniotic universe, contained by the warmth and loamy nurturance of her womb. It is only in that moment where we can find a slight recollection as to what our true origin is, and hence our destiny as beings that have been gifted the privilege of free will to find their way back to that floating state, that buoyant, suspended field in which there is no gravitas, there is no weight that holds us down, there is no anchors and shackles that hold us from expressing our creative freedom wildly, unhindered, without rhyme or reason, even in a purposeless, meaningless manner. For it is out of those spontaneous acts of not knowing, in the middle of those moments in which we surrender to the darkness, that true breakthroughs and creative innovations that touch all those other souls that are still fixated on their own suffering may recognize a glimmer of light in he or she who is acting in the way that is unpredictable, yet still are being true to themselves, and hence mirroring the same glimmer of truth within the witness, within he or she who is observing them, no matter how societally judgmental their behavior may be from the outside. They know, just like a God-intoxicated one the world over are venerated by our original peoples as being touched by the divine, even though their behavior is unusual and seemingly unrelated to the tribal survival of their people, yet they're still valuable as oracles of the divine. For there is a place for the bizarre, for the unusual, for the unexpected. There is a place for everything that is out of the ordinary. And this, my beloveds, is the key to understanding the emerald tablets, the various messages that have been imprinted since time immemorial within not that papyrus, not those golden sheaths, not Imhotep's, the physical thoughts, scribe expressions, or the angel Moroni's etchings on the golden filaments given to Joseph Smith, or the various other types of scrolls and tablets with undecipherable etchings that are now abundantly and rapidly being rediscovered because of the shifting of the tectonic plates and the rising of the oceans and the seismic activities that are abound, because of the imbalances that humankind, because of their forgetfulness of their unified relationship with the living earth, have precipitated, have elicited through that forgetting of their unified, interdependent belongingness and necessary contribution to living a balanced life in service to the whole. And this, as Pachacuti Missa Carrier initiates, whether aspiring or adept servants of the great work, I invite you on this Wednesday night link up to receive in your hearts, to embody as your own truth. First, a personal truth, a lowercase truth. And hopefully by the end of this evening, a capital T truth. A truth that is sacred, and sacred in the sense of sanctified by something that is a unifying, organic, holistic urge of all of life to find their way home to the heart and experience the divine gift and miracle of what it means to experience love as your true essential self. These, my beloveds, are the teachings for this good evening that we shall cast upon the world during our unified gathering. Hiya teksemuyu taitanchi huirakocha pachakamak. Kai pachiwaiku. Kai hatun wilka. Hanak pachamanta. Yari. Siorkendi ahayo. Here you see a green pattern from the center of the galactic Milky Way, pulsating down into the central area of this portal. And what you see at the base is a globe that is spinning. It is levitating. It is defying the gravity. There is no heavy pull on it. It is our planet, a small replica of our planet, yet not bound by the pull of the gravitational force, and still spinning sufficiently at the right rotational speed that whatever beings inhabit its surface are still affixed to its body. They are not cast away and lost in space. For this, Pachamama has deemed to be the home of a multitude of species. Species that over the many millenniums that we have existed on this planet as two-legged have witnessed for millions of years, contrary to current paleoarchaeological evidence, to have been very advanced in our civilization, in our innovative, creative skills as builders of the great temples, as builders and creators of technologies that have reached the stars way before this current era. And it's all come and it's all gone. And there have been multiple mass extinctions, and there will be continue to be multiple mass extinctions. And that is just the way the ebb and flow and the pulse of our cosmic mother's creative dreaming needs to be. It is the great breath, the swaha, the in-breath and the out-breath, the ebb and flow, that constriction and that expansion. And I invite you to breathe deeply into what you are hearing in word, and then exhale it out into the field that we are collectively creating. And allow your breath to just be the vessel through which you harmonize and align yourself before we enter into the toning of the 5 sacred directions of the Pachacuti Misa tradition cosmovision. Breathe deeply, fluidly, unhindered into the field that is presented before you. And notice that as you do so, from a green, verdant, fertile light that descends from the galactic center, it now turns white, purity, and cascades down directly upon the earth globe that rests upon the sacred cube, etched with the archetypal, the living archetype of the heart of the healer, Thoth, a square, a cube, upon which is a crystalline globe representing the earth. It's crystal mirror of that one which is suspended in space behind it, with its blue oceans. And between both the rotating non-gravitational free spinning globe, which is our home, and the luminous body, the earth as a crystalline matrix, lies the thrice great Hermes Trismegistus and its human form as understood to this day, depicted by the great Egyptian sages of old, an ibis-headed scribe whose quill is etching the memory of those eras that pre-existed the great Egyptian civilization of the Nile Delta. And if you have the eyes, you can see that flanking that entire patterning are two quills, feathers as well, with crystalline tips and silver and gold and gem encrusted symbolic insertions that activate the keys of Enoch, the great secrets known through the pulsing colors of the particular gems that were used in those days that replicate the colors of the centers of the energy bodies, commonly known as chakras or nadirs or other types of points in which the exchange between our physical vehicle, our physiology, and our biology become interacted with our bioetheric, our luminous field, our runakurkukanchai, our light bodies. And with the proper exercises and proper practices and the rituals that you have all learned as Pachacuti Mesa carriers that are meticulously integrated to allow you every time you activate and open your mesa ground with regularity to present you with a deeper and more profound understanding and embodiment of the great mysteries of all of the Hermetic traditions, of everything that has ever been once available through the great libraries and repositories of ancient wisdom around the world, that for better or worse may have found their demise, or some of them even hidden in caves still to be rediscovered, yet are now patterned within the cosmology of your Pachacuti Mesa altar ground. Entering into relationship with your artes, my beloved, spending time with that simple field and that cosmogram, that map that mirrors both self and cosmos, and listening deeply like you would to the murmuring of a creek, to the bird song of a winged one, to the rustling of the leaves, to the winds on the high mountain, to the soft sound of the melting glacier snows cascading from the great Apupuna that are revered by our people of Heart Island. All of that, all of those sounds, all of those messages, all of those teachings can be heard, can be felt, can be received by being a Pachacuti Mesa initiate. Take this in, my beloveds, and continue to breathe. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. Damasquero voy llamando tus encantos, Guachumero voy llamando tus virtudes, curandero voy llamando tus remedios, gran maestro voy llamando tus poderes. Damasquero, guachumero, curandero, buen maestro, con mi mi canto suavecito voy llamando. Todo bueno, toda buena gente está. En mi vida, en mi banco curandero, recibido sus virtudes, florecido sus encantos, eso pido, eso veo, eso siento, eso sea. Bien, el nombre es San Cipriano, Don Benito, Don Santa también, camasqueros, pero de ese linaje de Camasca y de Pacocuna, invocada su presencia, porque sin ellos no habría este momento de gloria. En humilde servicio me presento en este momento. Que así sea, así será. Welcome, precious ones. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance tonight. I trust all of you have received what you needed to receive with this unusual opening for the link up. Today is a good day. Many things have happened that speak to important prophetic predictions. And the details are secondary to the fact that the Pachacuti is continuing in all its most intense expressions. All of the noise, all of the static, all of that distraction out there that the media loves to focus on is just surface stuff. People don't have any idea what's really going on behind the scenes that our star relatives are orchestrating. That and because of this cosmic principle of Bredum or non-interference, they cannot show themselves in a manner that's going to, at least at present, in a manner that's going to interfere with the unfolding of human free will at a collective level. Yet there are certain of us, certain individuals, certain two-leggeds, people who understand that they don't have to pay attention to the noise, that no matter what fear-based messaging is saturating our psyche and pulsing throughout the world, that yes, tragedy has always happened. Illness has always been part of the human condition. Unfortunate events touch us all. Illnesses, accidents, unexpected visits to the hospital, losing one's hard-earned savings, losing one's sought-after job where they were dependent on right livelihood. A bunch of, innumerable things can happen. Yet is that something that has not ever happened to anybody before? It takes a daily death for us to be able to live a sacred life that is immune from the difficulties that life on planet Earth at this stage in the threshold of its destined evolutionary leap into fourth and fifth dimension is being required of us. This is what we've been talking about for years. And it's not that it's going to get worse or it's going to soften. It just is what it is. Yet, what do we have? We have a community of people that can sit in front of a extraordinarily beautified field of sacred ceremonial space and know that what they're doing, other people are doing it. And they are bringing beauty to the world. And they are finding a resonance, a coherence, a synergy, a unified field of joy, of peace, of equanimity, and of serenity, not only to themselves, but to their family, whether they participate in the same practice or not, and to the world in general. And that's the medicine that we have, my beloveds, that is unlike many others. That's not to say there are countless other organizations, activist groups, individual and collective agents of change that are doing remarkable things and are in the trenches and are fighting hard to elicit change and right those horrendous wrongs that are being done. And I support and empower them with my prayers and my ceremonial actions whenever I'm called to. And at the same time, there is virtue in the story of the shoemaker in a remote village of Afghanistan that realized that he was serving the earth, serving his people that were suffering so much during the Russian invasion of Afghanistan in the past, where a lot of their people were obliterated, not by going out there with the mujahideen and picking up a submachine gun and going to battle, but by fixing the shoes of those who needed those shoes fixed, while repeating the name of Allah. And many people did that also by repeating the name of the Buddha and repeating the name of the great master teacher Yehosha Christos and the countless other Christ beings, for they were all Christ beings, that during the actual ages, during the times of great turmoil, found their way to incarnate into physical form on earth and delivered messages of hope, of interiorization, of making change happen by cultivating a deep, rich relationship with self, capital S, as a child of the divine, as a luminous one, as a being of light. And through that, just offering that consciousness into the world, free of attachment to outcome. It's a hard sell to ask people to do this, especially with the amount of suffering that's going on right next to us. Many of the situations in the world that are touching us so intimately are not pleasant. So here's two things you can do at your mesa. If things get really gnarly and very uncomfortable, write a story, handwritten, not on a keyboard. Get a piece of paper and a pen and write your story as to what this tragedy or what this misfortune or what this difficult situation that you are facing on a personal level right now is about. And then rewrite it in a manner in which you take full responsibility for the fact that you had seen this coming before it happened. It's a paradox. It's like a koan. It doesn't make sense what I'm telling you. Yet doing so will attenuate and reverse any anxiety, any angst, any sense of ontological insecurity, any sense of unworthiness or I'm not up to the task. Because you can own the fact that you had precognition, that you really had either dreamt this or anticipated this possibility to happen. And even if you didn't do anything about it, you did do something about it because you were aware of it. And by being aware of it, now that it's happening, you're taking care of it in a much more prepared manner than you would have before. So, let go of the words that you just heard me say. Take in the offering of medicine that this message is offering you and let it sit in your heart. And if you want, write the story and then rewrite it as if you knew all along that it was going to happen. Place that little piece of paper under your misarumi, where the true Pachacuti, the true turning, the true churning, the true re-evolution takes place. 7 days. Then, as you well know, what better to affect an impact, a transformational impact in the three-dimensional plane than sacred fire. You offer it to sacred fire after 7 days. Bingo. Reversal. That's your practice for the next, how long is each governmental period? 4 years, I think. I guess for the next few years, try it out. So that brings us to harmonizing. Let us all get in a great, comfortable place. Notice that the lightning bolt of mystical illumination that is cascading from the above all the way to the below, where the emerald tablet is, where good old Thoth is on top of the image of Thoth with a stellar cosmic background. What I want you to notice is the verticality of this. That lightning bolt of mystical illumination played a significant role in the 7th International Gathering that the Heart of the Healer organized in Pisac, Peru. And it's too long, I'm putting together some story for this that I'm taking my time doing it because it's a very rich and robust story. And it has to do with the transportation of the Altar Mayor to its new place, the incredible, majestic place up in the Kootenay mountain range and in Nelson, Canada, under the custody of Star River Sanctuary, Darcy and Robin. Many of you know that. So, Cindy and I are turning over the entire medicine field that we have been caretaking for 40 years. Myself for 40 years, Cindy for at least 20, into that northwest section that is going to be activating even more powerfully the northwest to southeast quadrant all the way down to Lake Titicaca. So the seventh international gathering that had this lightning bolt of mystical illumination at it that I used is going to our Crestone gathering in Colorado that's coming up next weekend. And it's going to be in the custody of an open wing Earthrise. It's basically a center that's being created by Angela Myers. So